So, the first thing that I streamed after getting back from Janlan was a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I thought, like, oh, maybe the next stream should be some Pokemon XD or something like that. I'll probably do that this weekend. But there was a Nintendo Partner Direct today, this morning, I believe, and they announced a few things, including that this game right here is coming to Switch to June 5th? I think, something like that. I don't remember. But something like that. It's like, okay. Like, them bringing over a remake makes sense, since, apparently the Switch 2 is around the same / a bit more power than the PS4, and this was originally a PS4 game. But it did have me wonder, do they have, like, full intentions of bringing, like, the full remake trilogy to Nintendo consoles? It seems like they probably do. Is my capture card out of sync? The audio sounds slightly delayed. Let's try turning it off and on again. It's definitely in sync now. But yeah. Best game announcement today wasn't even in the Nintendo. What was the... Oh, no, never mind. I know what it was. I know what you're gonna say there. I forgot I was skimming through, like, general in the Discord channels, in the Discord server. Words, my brain, earlier today, and it's like, alright, yeah, I know what you're hyped about there. An actual non-shovelware Thomas the Tank Engine game. Hell yeah. I don't know the first thing about it, but I'm glad that you're hyped there. But yeah, I've wanted this my whole life. The wait is finally over. Anyway, this is coming to Switch 2, so they're clearly bringing it to the whole thingamajig, and I was like, you know what? I'll do some of these other games, like, this weekend or something like that. I'll do some more of this tonight, since that's, like, relevant and stuff here. Also, seeing the home menu screen here reminded me of something really dumb that I forgot to talk about before. So... how do I even start saying this? My brain has been, like, so frazzled lately. So, I ordered these games for, like, a Boxing Day sale or a holiday sale or something like that for a pretty decent price off of Video Games Plus. And, like, they're a site that I like to use for, like, some good price and good sales and stuff like that. So, I ordered these games from there thinking, like, oh, I'll get around to them eventually. Obviously, that eventually being now. And... I was like, great, yeah, let's get the PS5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake. The PS5 version is Remake Intergrade, so it comes with, like, additional content of a little Yuffie side story there. I may as well boot up the game here. Like, great. That's what the PS5 version is. It's enhanced, and it has, like, additional content. Apparently, despite that additional content being PS5 exclusive, being Intergrade exclusive here, it doesn't actually come on the game. It comes with a download code, even though if you're buying the Remake Intergrade on the PS5, you're always gonna have that download code, so I don't know why it wasn't just put on the disc. Like, it's here, I have it. It's just like a separate thing that you select on the main menu. I couldn't at first, because I had thought, oh, this is a Remake Intergrade. That's what my copy of Final Fantasy VII is here. Like, maybe the disc inside is just a copy of the original Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then it gets patched to be, like, having the enhancements or something, and then through the download code, you also get, like, the additional stuff there. Isn't well, I'm saying PS5 exclusive in the sense of you can't find it on PS4. I know that it exists on Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series, PC, is what I'm getting at here, is that you can't get Intergrade on PS4. This is the enhanced version that was released a year later, exclusively for PS5. So I assume that maybe the disc that... I guess I could pop out the disc and see what it says. I assume that the disc is maybe just, like... would it be a PS4 copy? It says PS5 on it. So that's why I'm confused why the additional content is through a download code. But the thing was, I went to redeem that download code, and it didn't let me because my region didn't match up. I have an EU copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade here, and because of that, my download code doesn't work because it's an EU download code, and I have an EU copy of the game, but my account is associated with NA, which means I'm not allowed to redeem that download code, which means that despite the fact that I bought a copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, they really, really want to sell me the Intergrade upgrade, even though you look at the disc that I popped into my PlayStation and it says Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. They want to sell me that. It's $53.49 for what is apparently a 5-hour long Yuffie side story. So, you know, there's that, you know, or I could subscribe to PlayStation Plus. So, even though it should know I popped in a disc that reads Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. It should know that I have access to this additional content. It wants me to buy this. Yeah, that is really, really overpriced. It's for a little Yuffie side story, the Intergrade stuff. I got around it though. Like, you can see that it's trying to sell me that, and yet I have intermission right here. Reason being, I made an alternate European account, and then I redeemed the code, and it worked, and it downloaded it, and then I switched back to like my main NA account here, and I checked to make sure that I still had access to Intergrade stuff. That's why I had a little bit of playtime in this game before properly starting a playthrough, is I started this to make sure this is working right, and it did. Why not just not region lock it? Just let me redeem the download code for the game that I own, regardless of region, because I have this code, instead of trying to sell me a whole nother copy of something that I already own. And at the same time, why wouldn't either the Intergrade stuff be included on the disc itself, or if you pop in a PS5 copy that reads Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, don't have a download code, instead just have it be like, oh, this is a PS5 copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. I should download the additional content as a free DLC. So, if you buy this game on the PS5 anyway, you already have this. So, it really seems like it's a $53 paywall just to specifically screw people that don't think about doing like different regional things that buy a copy of the game from a different region. Like, maybe this is just the price of what it would be if you owned a PS4 copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that's, like, the intended price. Like, this is the upgrade pack for, like, the PS5 version. But again, I own the PS5 version. That is what I popped in. Anyway, I meant to talk about that earlier on in the playthrough, because I remember that was something that really pissed me off when I first got this copy of the game, and I was making sure that things worked, and I kind of completely forgot about that until I looked at the home menu, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember this thing that really pissed me off. Hello, Mythic, how's it going? Oh my fucking god, the goddamn EU download codes. I still haven't switched my Switch's region to EU to use my Sparks of Hope code. Oh yeah. I never understand why the game is region free, but the content code isn't. Yeah. Because game companies hate imports, I guess. Like, I don't know. So anyway, a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Remake tonight. So, where am I going? This way? We're gonna go fight the Airbuster, is what's coming up. Knowing, you know, just having played the original Final Fantasy VII here. That's what's coming up here, is we're going on to go, like, blow up the second Mako reactor, and we're gonna go fight the Airbuster that I've listened to the Airbuster OST from this game. It is really good. So, like, the boss battle of this upcoming segment, prepare for... Where did my map go? What do I... What? I don't even know what I did. Prepare for really good music. But yeah, how do I... Oh yeah, how do I jump up there? I don't know how I'm doing that. But I'm doing it. And they should tell Amazon to stop selling EU copies of games in the US. Well, it's not just Amazon, it's a lot of different companies there. Like I said, I got this from Video Games Plus. But that's, you know, seller where it's like, yeah, they have copies of the game, you take what you can get. And, oh, I should heal up a little bit at some point here. And, like, finding PS5 copies of Remake Intergrade isn't super easy peasy walk in the park anymore, because this came out originally on PS4 in 2020, and then it came out on PS5 in 2021. So, you know, it's like you can find copies around, but they're not always in stock. It's not like a hip new thing anymore or anything like that. So, you know, I had to wait a little bit for them to actually get in stock there, and I was keeping an eye on there and some other sellers, and it was like, oh, they have copies. I don't really care what copy I get. EU copy is what they have in stock. Whatever, that works. You know, I didn't particularly care. I didn't realize I would have to jump through hoops here for the freaking DLC thing. But I'm really, really glad that I didn't have to spend $55 to be able to download something I already owned. But it still pisses me off. But yeah. Maybe Square Enix is trying to undermine the used market? It's something, oh, maybe. Something similar with the Switch version of the Final Fantasy X double pack, making half the ROM a download code. Oh, yeah. I guess if I resold my copy of Remake Intergrade, you'd be right. They would have to buy the DLC as a separate... The DLC. Like, let's call it what it is. It's some of the content that comes with the game that is being kept as like a separate one-time download thing. That is a good point. You could well be right. Because, yeah, that does definitely diminish the resale value. Wow. That really sucks there. How does it work if you buy a Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Switch 2, I wonder? Spelled potencies is telling me about this now. I know that the game itself is on like a game key card. Screw that. I don't want to play it on the Switch 2 because it's a game key card and because 30 FPS. 60 FPS is very important to me nowadays. But I do genuinely wonder how it would be. Like, imagine the game is a game key card. So you have to download the game in the first place. But then you have like a separate DLC code for the Intergrade stuff. How funny and messed up would that be? Part of me kind of wants to look up if that's the case now. Your materia has improved enough that more potent spells available. For example, in the case of the fire spell, the potency increases from fire to Fira, and finally to the most powerful Firaga. To access more powerful spells, press left and right with the command selected. Remember that more powerful magic consumes more MP. Okay, so like, oh, interesting. Oh, so I have a more powerful version of that as well. I was about to say, I don't remember having a more powerful version of that. So maybe that icon isn't what I think it is, but I did have a more powerful version of that. So I don't really want to be burning through a whole bunch of my MP here and stuff, you know. So, I mean, but yeah, I'm just gonna bash while I'm reading here, whatever. This was common during the Xbox 360/PS3 era. A lot of online games have one-time use codes that will allow you to play online. If you didn't have the code, you have to pay for $20 DLC to access the multiplayer online features. Despite the fact that, like, you clearly own the game, like, you physically have it there and popped it in and stuff. Also did that with the PS Vita version of Final Fantasy X and X-2, with X-2 being a download code. Huh. I actually own Final Fantasy X, X-2, like, Switch version. I own it on PC and I own it on Switch. So, when the day comes that I probably play, like, Final Fantasy X and X-2, probably after my Final Fantasy VII series, honestly. I don't know whether I do the PC version or the Switch version. The Switch version would have, like, the convenience of being able to take it on the go and stuff that I might not have as much with PC, but, you know, I, generally speaking, would probably get more of a kick out of playing it on PC. That's technically what my... Oh my god, they are really booking it! Technically what my playthrough started as when I started playing that game, like, way back when. Man, when FromSoft released enhanced complete versions of their games, it all comes on the disc. That's what you would hope that everybody would do. Dark Souls 3 Fire Fades Edition disc has all DLC on the disc. Yeah, and that's nice. When companies release, like, when they have DLC that comes out and they release, like, complete versions of their games as well, that has all the DLC, like, right on the disc or cartridge. Heck yeah to that. Can understand saving money with smaller size Switch cards, but it's disappointing when Switch 1 game cards fill in content with codes rather than the card itself acting as a full license key. Yeah, it,
Let's go.
Yeah. Kind of the gaming landscape that we live in nowadays, in a sense, but it is a bit unfortunito.
What's that?
If the Switch 2 version was 60 FPS, whoops, and it was actually complete on cartridge, I would buy the Switch 2 version. Probably even despite me having already owned the PS5 version here. I probably would have played the Switch 2 version. But, you know, 30 FPS, which I'm sure is probably like hardware limitation and stuff there. The game key card thing as well. And yeah, I'll stick with my PS5 version here, I think. I mean, generally my choice would be PC. That would be my go-to one, just pick up this game on PC on like a Steam Summer Sale or something and still be able to play like 60 FPS, not have to worry about any of that. But I know that they released these games on PlayStation first and foremost, and then it's like a year or two or whatever the heck later that they would release it on PC. And if I'm playing Rebirth and Remake here, I do want to be able to play the final of the games like right when it comes out. And I think it'd be kind of silly to be playing Remake and Rebirth on PC and then get a PlayStation copy of the final one in the trilogy. Like, just keep it consistent. So, play all these on PlayStation 5. Is what I may as well do here, instead of having 2 of the trilogy on one platform and then 2 on another platform. And, you know, that's just unsatisfying and weird.
Let's finish it.
It's because Nintendo isn't giving options to third parties, so I've heard. Whoops, I did not mean to switch away from you. Here we go. Boom, some more X and stuff. For the Switch 2, I can understand Nintendo keeping options limited, probably logistical cost issues with having diverse sizes of express micro SD cards. I'm sure there is, but, you know, I would definitely prefer if they had honestly even taken more time before they released the Switch 2 to the point that they would have been, like, at the ready to provide more options. Like, I'm sure that it's, you know, a whole big logistical puzzle there. Although game console prices might go up in the near future, thanks to the global RAM shortage that's going on, and will continue to get worse because of these AI data centers. So, that's another future that we have to look forward to as gamers. So, you know. Well, how about some fire? Well, yeah, I just used MP that I didn't have to, so maybe I should just keep it to regular slashing and stuff. I did look up one brief YouTube video about how to, like, actually play Cloud in this game. And it mentioned things like block while in Punisher mode and you parry stuff. And then it builds up, like, a bunch of the stagger meter. Whoops, I did not hit it soon enough there, clearly.
Anytime now.
I don't know. Maybe I go ahead and do something like, this?
Right.
Something like, I don't know. I missed! Whatever, man.
That's it.
No, I thought you were getting an attack ready. I don't even know. Okay. Green Gas Strike. Poison Sting. The game looks pretty decently loud over in the volume mixer. Like, is the game seeming loud? Am I clearly audible here? I'm gonna turn it down just a little smidge. Because that audio level looks higher than the last time I remember looking over at it during a previous stream. So figured maybe I should adjust that there. Maybe. Wow. Yeah, try to get a sense for Cloud, and then I'm gonna start playing around with some different characters. Apparently this game only has like 4 playable characters, despite the fact that in theory you think it'd be able to go up to 5, because you would get Red 13 towards the end. But apparently he's just like a guest character and not actually controllable at the end of the whole Midgar stuffs. Unfortunately. I don't know, Braver. Boop. Oh, style on him, sure. Kill him with Chinese. Also, this is my first time using this controller by Ghost of Yote 1 on the actual PS5. I've been using it as a PC controller for a while. I literally just synced it to my console here right before starting the stream. And out of pure laziness, I would have used like my other PS5 controller, the one that came with the console, but it's almost dead because I forgot to charge it after last time, so here we are, I guess. I was not paying a massive ton of attention to what was being said. Alright, we'll get those spooter webs out of here. I'll get moving this way. DualSense controller, great controller. Yeah, I do generally like it, but I have found that I don't like playing it for Guilty Gear. I think it kind of sucks for that purpose. Isn't there like sale items or something like that to look out for in these, the game was telling me? Like, I don't know. Honestly, I'm most excited for part 3 because Safer Sephiroth in the current Final Fantasy art style is gonna look insane. Yeah, it'll be good old stamp. I'll be really intrigued to see that as well. It's such a weird name, like, I do admit. Like, we have Bizarro Sephiroth and then Safer Sephiroth. What does that mean? Is he safer now? But, like, yeah, the actual final boss at the end of the story. What's it gonna look like? And will they give him a cooler name than Safer Sephiroth? Flame Trooper. Time to die! How do you get in here? Well, the stairs. That's how I got in here. Love the Switch Pro Controller, especially for Splatoon, but certain games like Mario Party games have a lot of button mashing. I find button mashing better on the clicky Joy-Cons. Yeah, like the actual satisfying clicking that comes with that. Ooh. Speaking of playing Mario Party here, the LAN event that I was just at a couple weeks ago, Jan LAN, we like to do our good old 3 AM Mario Party shenanigans. And not this weekend, but next weekend, There's another LAN event going on that I am debating about going to. That I only found out about at Janland. They made an announcement, like, while they were giving stuff out, like, oh, by the way, there's this other LAN event going on that's, like, a new thing, if anyone's interested in that. And I looked into it, and I basically decided, like, oh, you know, if my family's going, then I'll go as well. Like, I'll be intrigued, but if not, then I might not, or maybe I'll just, like, swing by and check out what the event is like. So, there is a chance that we might... Oh, no, you can knock that aside, too. It is physics. So there's a chance that next weekend we might have some Mario Party shenanigans going on at a completely different LAN event. But, like, I'm undecided right now. Do it. What? Doing another LAN event? It's a 4-day long one, so it's Fragapalooza length. It's Friday to Sunday. I can show it here. It's got a fun name to it. Also thinking it needs a different theme from One Winged Rebirth. I think Rebirth fits normal form Sephiroth better, but Safe Sephiroth needs an even more insane theme. Well, it's gotta be like something that plays off of One Winged Angel, but like something that's absolutely insane. So this is really weird for me to be like, literally a week from when this event would start and be like, I don't know whether I'm going or not. I talked with like the main organizer of it, and he answered like all my questions like really thoroughly to like get a sense of you know, what's going on there. Apparently, it's called a Land Before Time. They only started it last year, and apparently it's only public as of this year. So, yeah, and literally a week from now. So, I'm kind of chatting with my family and being like, is this something that we want to go to? Because I don't know if I'm going, like, on my own here, if that's the case. It was like, who's DMing me here? My little cousin. It's just joining me and a buddy in some Guilty Gear. Because we all have our own copies and we can play online, and the server's pretty good, so there isn't lag. Does he not see my streaming status? I'm playing a Final Fantasy VII. Is it retro themed? They posted their schedule here recently. I asked if they had like a lot of events on the side, like, you know, things like I run at these LAN events, for example. And where would they have the thingamabob? It's located at this place called the Sugar Swing Ballroom, which I've never been there. I don't know what that's like. It's in the Strathcona part of Edmonton here. It seems interesting. It is wait, did I just open the same thing here? Oh no, I didn't. Let's see here. One of the things that I am a little bit hesitant about is it is pricier than the other LAN events that I go to. But I think one of the biggest reasons for that pricing is the food is fully catered. It's designed so that you literally never have to leave the venue. You will always be sustained. There's always going to be food to eat. And like all lunches and dinners are like fully catered. So it's like, okay, I can see how that's like a big factor there. But yeah, so, you know, it is a bigger investment, but it's like, okay, I kind of get it from that perspective. So yeah, they listed, you know, the catering stuff they were doing. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. And a bunch of snacks and stuff. Itinerary. Yeah, this is what they posted there. So they have a few scheduled games going on. Man, I couldn't do these LAN events. They're pretty hardcore. They are really crazy. So this one is a Friday to Monday thing. And it goes longer than even Fragapalooza because it opens at like 12 p.m. and it goes until like 6 p.m. on the Monday. On the final day of Frag, it only goes until like noon or 2 or something like that if memory serves. So like they go hard at this one. It's kind of the case. So they run like servers for games. They do like a couple scheduled games. I don't know if I'd be interested in like any of these. I could see myself potentially playing Prop Hunt. Another reason why I'd be hesitant is like, I don't know anybody there. It's not like the other LAN events where I know a bunch of familiar faces. So, you know, I guess that's how you meet people, but I don't know. Apparently they're doing a sweaty pentathlon where it's like they have games throughout the event that they only reveal what they are when the actual time comes. So pentathlon event 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess they have like these little hints about what the game is gonna be, and you just like compete in those. And yeah, that's essentially what's going on there. And you know, I was reaching out basically asking, you know, is there a lot of stuff going on the side? Like, what's the general plan? Because it seems like it's a LAN event. There's a lot of servers that go up. They have like these scheduled games, and there's a bunch of servers for different games that they go up and just leave up throughout the event. But I wouldn't do a lot of server stuff. I would do a lot of playing on my own. And realistically, if I want to commit to playing games on my own, I can do that here too, just fine, is the thing. Like, I don't necessarily need to go out to a different event to, you know, do that kind of thing. Which is why I was wondering, like, do I want to do that there? I like to sleep in a bed, and there are people that do actually you know, go home and sleep at home. But this is like the other LAN events I go to where people are going to be sleeping all around. is kind of the case. And it's like, bring earplugs or whatever you need to sleep because people are going to be gaming through the night. So, you know, I'm intrigued. They do day passes as well, so like I could potentially just go for like a single day, which they count as like noon that day to noon the following day, so you can stay the night, just to see if, you know, it's something that I'd be interested in. But yeah, so kind of last second, there's a LAN event next weekend. Do I go to it since it's like a new one that I haven't been to, and do I want to keep it up as like the person that goes to the most LAN events in Edmonton, or you know, what's going on here? There's scheduled sessions there. They do a whole bunch of like servers for different games that aren't showing up right now. There we go. But again, I'll be doing my own thing. If I want to do my own thing, I can do that at home just fine. Do I necessarily want to go out to a separate event and, you know, invest a decent bit of money, which, you know, again, I'm sure that they're not doing this like for profit or anything like that, especially when they're doing like full catering and all that. But still, like me as a consumer, it's still a decent little smidge. So, especially if I were going on my own, is it worth it for me to try and go and do that? So we'll see what family says here and stuff. Where the heck am I going? But yeah, it is a big maybe right now. So because it's last second and I don't really have any specific plans, if I did go to that, I probably wouldn't have much in the way in mind of like start to finish playthroughs or as much priority on it's either start to finish or it's starting something new. I'd probably do stuff like this at that, or, you know, Pokemon XD. And even though it was starred at other events, it's like, whatever.
We've compiled our report on Avalanche's combat capabilities.
If I end up going. Main organizer seemed really nice. Like, he answered all my questions really thoroughly. He seemed like a cool dude. I got a good impression there.
Have you already forgotten the war with Wu-Tai? An enemy spared is an enemy who will repay your kindness with blood. We must crush them thoroughly and completely, without hesitation or mercy. Shinra cannot and will not settle for anything less. Will you?
But sir...
If so, I can only assume that you and your men no longer wish to serve in your current positions. Is that correct?
We'll prepare the prototype in Section E for immediate deployment. Right now, damn it!
Another day, another victory. How do I do it?
I ask myself that same thing every day.